So we're going to do the plough preparation today. We won't do the actual plough because that's really an intensive one for the morning, but we're going to do we're going to do the normal preparation, and we're going to do the preparation with the legs, where the legs go wide apart. And so there are two learning steps from this. One learning step is that we grow in an upside down direction from our solar plexus through the lower back and then out through the legs. And the other learning step is with this widening of the legs, to feel that sense of expansion. So those are the two qualities, the reverse learning and the expansion. So we'll start with some other exercises to help prepare for both of those things. So with the expansion, it's more the sides that we're dealing with. So can you come up to a standing position? Let's start with this quality of stretching the sides. Let's do this exercise where we step onto one foot. You can be aware of the middle of your body there, and you can grow for now upwards through this side, and then upwards through the arm in the way that we normally do when we work with the solar plexus. And then the other side, a step from the middle, growing up through that side of the body. We can feel the expansion of the side. Once again, changing again, a step. Awareness to the solar plexus. And then expanding and streaming up through. You can really let your breath flow fully and freely. As the side of the body expands, so does the breath. Change to the other side. A step. Stretching from that side and streaming up. Let the breath expand. One more time on each side. Step. Be aware of the breath. Be aware of that rib cage area. Expand up. Full breathing. And one more time on the other side. Firm step down. An active lengthening right in the middle where the rib cage is, and continuing to stream upwards, and then come back down again. Let's come into the forward bend. Firm feet and legs, letting the breath flow freely. Be aware that the neck is relaxed, and the face, and the shoulders, and the arms and hands. And come in a full free movement up into the standing half moon. Be aware of your rib cage area and stretch both the sides now. Stream right up through the upper spine. Be aware of that region between the shoulder blades. Continue that movement right through the arms to the fingertips, opening your chest right out and let the breath flow. Take the hands down by your sides. Let's do a first round of the sun prayer. Take the hands together. Take the arms up. Be aware of that solar plexus so you can really grow and lengthen. Come forwards and look in. Take the right foot back. Form a base in the half moon position. Lift from the rib cage and stream actively up. Keep breathing. Take the hands down and come into the plank. Take the knees, chest and forehead down, arching your back. Slide forwards. Open into the cobra. Let the breath flow quite fully. Then push into downward dog. Form that peak with your bottom, lengthening up through the spine. And take the right foot forward, form the base. From the middle, from the rib cage area, grow and lengthen. And then take the other foot forward and look in. Swing right the way up. Be aware of that rib cage. Lift it. Grow through the upper spine. Continue right through the arms to the fingertips. And take the hands down. Hands together. Taking the arms up. Be aware of that solar plexus. So we want to develop an active lengthening and streaming up through. And to notice how this helps our breath to expand. We feel more expanded in our whole being. Take the hands down and look right in, close in, right in at your legs. Take the left foot back, forming a base. Quite a tightening in your second center. Then from the third center, the solar plexus stream up, right through the arms to the fingertips. And then come into the plank. Take the knees down, chest and forehead down. Slide forwards and open up into the cobra. Push into downward dog. Take the left foot forward, forming a base. Growing, streaming upwards. And then the other foot forward. Come right the way up and grow. Lifting through the rib cage, streaming up through. And take the hands down. So we'll come to our first exercise where we're going to learn to grow backwards from this solar plexus down through the lower back and into one of the legs. And this is the dancer position. So I'll just demonstrate because we don't do this one very often. And if you need to soften the leg you're standing on a little bit, you can do. So the movement starts from the middle of the back, solar plexus. We keep the upper body relaxed. And we grow backwards. Okay, so you're standing in an upright position to start with. Take one leg. Soften the other knee that you're standing on if you need to. Relax your head, your neck, your shoulders. Make sure you're breathing just freely. And now directing your awareness to the middle of your back, your solar plexus. Start to push that leg backwards. What's important is that you're not pulling with your arm, but you're learning to use the back and the buttock and the thigh. You're using the activity of those limbs themselves, not the arm to pull. Okay, come back again. Have a go on the other side. So take a good step. Relax the upper body, take hold of your ankle. Just pause to make sure that you've got free breath and a really good awareness of that central region, the solar plexus. Now you can tip forward a little bit, bending slightly the leg you're standing on, and really push that knee upwards as far as possible. Okay, and come back again. Just roll down and hang forwards. And then swing right the way back up. Direct your awareness as usual to the solar plexus region as you lengthen upwards through the upper spine and take the hands down. We'll have another go at this exercise. What's really important is that you have a very specific awareness of where the starting point is. Can you put your finger on your back where the solar plexus is so that you can feel that touch? Yes, it's directly opposite the pit of your stomach. So you know exactly where you're starting. Just have another look at the exercise. If we do it into undefined, if we just try and sort of push the leg, we're not exactly clear on what we're trying to do. We need to exactly locate the start of the movement, really think it, and execute the movement from that point. You'll find you can come much further if you've got a very clear starting point. Let's have another go. So a good step, head and neck and shoulders really relaxed so that your thinking is free to place a very clear thought now at that point in your back. And in a very specific way, you can start to guide your knee upwards. Let the breath flow. You feel it, your middle of your back working, then the lower part of your back, then your buttock, moving back into your leg. Okay, come back again. And the other side. So, a good step. You can take the ankle. Relax the neck, the face, the shoulders. Become specifically aware of that region in your back. And now, with your standing leg, if necessary, slightly softened, you can, in a very defined way, a very precise way, you can guide the movement from that starting point back and up. And then return again. Let's come to another round of the sun prayer. Taking the hands together. Taking the arms up. Take the hands down again and look in. Take the right foot back. Come up into the half moon and grow. Come into the plank. Take the knees, chest and forehead down. Slide forwards and open into the cobra. Push into downward dog. Take the right foot forward. Half moon. Left foot forward. Standing half moon. And take the hands by your sides. Hands together. Coming right the way up and growing from your middle. Take the hands down and look right in. Left foot back. Coming up, growing actively up. Then come into the plank. Knees, chest and forehead down. Slide up. Come into downward dog. Left foot forward. Come up once again. And the other foot forward. Come right the way up and grow. And take the hands down. Okay, so we'll come to the first of our plough variations. And this one is just going to be coming up with the legs in the air. Now you can either do it with your hands supporting your back, or you can do it in such a way that you take both arms up above your head if you're able to. So either way, what I'd like you to do is once again focus your attention very specifically on the solar plexus, on that point of your spine, and once again to think of that movement moving through the lower back and then through the legs. I'm just going to demonstrate this. So come into the starting position. It will feel quite stiff in the morning, so take your time. You can either just support your hands on your back like that, or you can take one arm and then the other arm above the head. And then what I'd like you to do is focus on this point in your back. When you've got a good feel for it, you start to think how the lengthening can begin to happen. But it'll only be very, very slight. The main thing is just to really have an awareness that that is your center and that your breathing is as full as possible in the sides of your body. Okay, so if you'd like to come into that initial position, taking the back with the hands first. And if you're able to take them above the head, then do so. And just pause first of all to become aware of your breathing. Then locate mentally that point on your back. It doesn't have to be just on your spine, but right in that whole region of the body. So that is the starting point for the growth. And you can think about the spine growing upwards from that region towards your hips. Just let it gently come. There should never be any strain on your neck. Okay, and come back down and just relax. Just pause for a moment, lying on your back, allow the breath to flow. And after doing that movement, it's good to do a counter pose to just arch your back. You can, to do this, you can sit up and you can lean like this, have your back at an angle, your arms at an angle, and really arch your back, opening your chest right up high so that your whole spine is now tightened. Let the breath flow really fully. Okay. So would you like to come back up to a standing position again? I want to come back to the movement that we did right at the beginning, this extension of the sides. Taking a step, once again, the same thing that we did at the start, growing from the side of your body, actively up through, full free breath, streaming up through that arm. And then the other side, so a step. Be aware of that middle part, streaming upwards through the side. Notice how when you stretch your side, your breath can expand and you also feel more expansive. Come back down again. Let's take the feet into the position for the triangle. Good, firm, stable base. Let's take both arms up now, becoming aware of both sides. Again, streaming up from the middle, really extending these upper parts of your sides, continuing to stream up through the arms. right up to the fingertips. Keep the breath flowing really freely. Fingertips together. So as we stretch and extend our sides, it expands our breathing, and we feel more kind of open to the whole outside space around us. Take your hands down, roll down and hang forwards. And then swing freely back up to the standing position again. Take the arms up above the head, and we'll come into the actual triangle, doing whichever variation is best for you. If you have lower back problems, just stay in this vertical stretch. Otherwise, you can come right the way over. The idea is that we extend this side of the body right the way far outwards. Let the breath flow. As the side expands, the breath expands. Return again. Change the arms around. Lengthen. Stream right the way out. Breathing. Return. Change sides again. Grow. And extend out. Keep the breath flowing. And then return again. Grow. And stream actively out. As the breath expands, the body expands. One more time on each side, a little bit of a further stretch than before, really being aware of that extension through your sides. Right the way out. And the other side. Growing and come right the way out. And then return again, both arms up. Take the hands down, roll down once again. And then come back up. So we're going to finish off with the other variation of the plough that I mentioned to you before, and this is the one with the legs slightly spread apart. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit. So the idea behind this one is that we get an experience of this growing up through the sides of the body. And the movement we can think of going through the back and out through the legs. We can imagine that it's not angular, but rounded. I'd like you to picture it like that. It grows up and then it flows out in a rounding movement through the legs. So you'll see what I mean when I demonstrate the position. So you can keep your hands on your back for this one. You can take your legs wide apart, and we're becoming aware of our side. So the movement starts at the shoulder region. It flows up through the sides and out through the legs. We imagine the kind of rounding movement up and out through the sides and the legs. And we can listen to the breath. We can allow it to expand. So this movement could really produce a feeling of constriction, because obviously our chest is bent over our head. But if we experience the sides and that opening, it can have the opposite effect. So what we think is crucial, where we pay our attention, that it affects the whole experience that we have. Would you like to have a go? Coming onto up into this inversion. Take the hands to your back, spread the legs apart, keeping them up in the air. Let the breath flow. Start to picture how the movement flows from the shoulders up through the sides and rounds itself out into that lengthening extension outwards through the legs. So the experience that we have is one of expansion. Expansion of the sides, expansion of the legs, expansion of the breath. And if your body's able to gradually grow more and more, you can allow it to do so. As if the legs are getting longer and longer and expanding outwards. And then you can close your legs and come back down and just relax lying on your back. And just pause on your back for a moment as you can experience that expansive flow of breath coming into the body from the space that surrounds you. And come back up to a sitting position. And just as a counter pose, once again, you can take one hand a little bit behind, lean back, stretch, actively arching your back, growing expansively through the side of your side, right up through your arm, letting the breath really expand one final time. And then changing to the other arm, leaning back a little bit so the back's at an angle, the arm's at an angle, really lengthening your side, tightening your spine, streaming outwards through that arm. And then relax and come back to a sitting position. And breathe fully and freely.